All right, good day, good day. We will now deliver the monologue for the transmission that we have called A Step Along the Way. This is for the purpose of allowing you more efficacy, more ability to stay in the moment along your path, on your journey, and allow you to have a clearer understanding of how your higher mind, your passion, and synchronicity work together to allow you to take the steps necessary for you to navigate through the different parallel versions of Earth that are more and more reflective of the version that you prefer to experience, or the versions, more precisely, that you prefer to continue to experience as you shift moment to moment to moment. The primary point of this particular transmission and title is really about learning to relax into the moment, of letting go of any insistence on the concept of a goal that you're attempting to achieve, a place you're attempting to get to, some destination out in the so-called future. Not that you will not experience the idea of outcomes and goals and destinations, but these things are experienced along the way. In other words, please remember this. Your journey, no matter how you experience it, whether in physical reality, whether in non-physical reality, your journey never ends. There is no ultimate place you are attempting to get to. If you understand that everything that's important is happening right now, nothing more important will ever happen, as you say, in the future. It will just be a different thing, equally important to whatever's going on right now. You can begin to relax into the now, into the moment, understanding that as your passions are presented to you, in terms of whatever form they come in, by synchronicity, that these experiences, the willingness to act on the things that contain more passion, more excitement, more curiosity, more attractiveness, are simply in the moment, there in that form to get you to take an action that represents the step you need to take at that moment. As we have said before, just because your excitement presents itself in a certain way, in a certain format, doesn't mean that that format always has to come to fruition. Sometimes it might, but many times it might not. At least not in the sense that that will be the next thing that manifests. Again, it may, but it may not. So the idea is to start really looking, start really connecting to the things that present themselves to you as opportunities to act on that are representative of your passion, looking at them only as a step along the way on your journey. Nothing in that sense is the ultimate goal. The only thing that is truly, if you want to call it a goal, the ultimate goal, is being yourself. And it is the synchronicity and the passion and the higher mind that allows you at every moment to be yourself by giving those things to act on that represent your true vibration, the fullness of your being. As you step from stepping stone to stepping stone on the journey, on the path that you are, it's very important to really pay attention to what is happening right here and right now in every single one of those moments, in every single one of those stepping stones, and really savor it for what it is right here, right now, as simply a step along the way, no matter how exciting it may be. Never assume, never insist that that particular presentation, that particular experience has to be an ultimate thing, has to unfold in a certain way. It is nothing more than a step on the journey of you being yourself, which is really the entire point of the experience. Yes, they're presented to you in certain ways that are reflective of the personality you have created yourself to be, of the way in which you designed, so to speak, your theme. To be this person, this personality, this reflection, this aspect of all that is? Yes, of course it is. And that can make it seem as if this personality must achieve this thing in this particular way by this kind of time, or that something has gone wrong. But this exercise, this idea, and the meditation that will follow in this transmission this day is all about really relaxing off of that idea and really just allowing it to flow through you in the moment, no matter how it comes to you, no matter how exciting, how passionate you may be about something, not to lose the passion, but not to rigidize it, not to structurize it in a way that insists that it must unfold in a certain way, because you really don't know, you really do not know exactly why it came to you in the way that it did. And this is why we are explaining to you that no matter how it appears, no matter how much energy might seem to be behind it, no matter how much synchronicity there may appear to be, it is simply a step along the way on your journey of being yourself, which is really the only goal. Everything else is an expression of that goal, but are not the goals themselves. The idea of coming to fruition in anything that excites you is all well and good, and many times it will happen. But even coming to fruition in a particular way that the passion may have presented itself to you is not the ultimate goal. It is just another step along the way, another part of the overall experience of your unending journey of being yourself, of discovering yourself from a new point of view, of just existing in the moment, savoring the moment, experiencing the moment, being you as fully as you can in every moment with everything that's presented to you, no matter how it looks. Whether you prefer it or not, it's there for a reason. Use the moment. Use it up fully. Dive into it. Stay with it. Don't ignore it. Don't attempt to get beyond it. Don't rush forward trying to get somewhere else. This moment, whatever is happening in it, is the key to really experiencing the fullness of your journey, so that you are really validating and savoring every single stepping stone, every single one. For if you're not using it fully, then it's not there to support you to get to the next stepping stone. You create gaps that you cannot get past if you don't really fully appreciate what's going on at this particular moment on your journey of being you. It's very important for you to focus on the idea of being you. You may not always know what that means, but you will find out. You will discover it if you just relax into the understanding that everything that comes to you is simply just another step along the way. It's not an ultimate goal that needs to be achieved. It's not a place you have to hurry to get to. There is no clock. You're not running out of time for anything that's relevant in your life. If you stay in the moment and just experience everything that comes as another step along the journey of being you, then everything will unfold in perfect timing, and you can feel yourself going with the flow of your truth, sailing along smoothly as you go from step to step to step, knowing that every step is just another step along the way of the journey of being who you truly are. So begin to breathe and relax into this idea that there's nothing more important than the now moment, because it is the now moment and in the now moment that you will discover by your interactions with what's happening at that moment who you truly are. And that's the most important thing you can do, to really allow yourself to move through your journey, to be your journey, and know yourself more deeply, more fully, more truly, and feel the fulfillment of the reflection of all that is and all the potential within you that will unfold Yes, over time, because that's the focus you have. But you will feel the fulfillment as you go, that every single moment has been savored to its maximum. So that you know you have left nothing out, left nothing behind, ignored nothing, that you've paid attention to everything that's there, and truly absorbed everything that has been brought to you at that moment. Because there is nothing irrelevant in this moment. There's nothing irrelevant in this moment. And there's nothing irrelevant in this moment. Every single thing is the orchestration you have agreed to participate in. When we take you through the meditation, we will continue the idea of how to breathe in a more relaxed way into every moment so that you truly begin to experience your passion, things you do prefer, things you don't prefer, interactions with others, reflections that you may get through synchronicity, everything that comes your way, messages from the higher mind, messages from spirit guides, whatever it is that's happening, you'll be able to experience it simply more and more and more as another beautiful, orchestrated step along the way of the journey that you are.
Hello, it is so nice to meet you, through the internet. So honored to be here.
Good day. We thank you for the co-creation.
Yes, thank you so much, and I honor you for taking this time.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Thank you. So my first question is, I do feel like I am one of the beings that have been put on this earth to assist in the paradigm shift that is occurring on the planet at this time.
One moment, let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
The way you frame that disempowers you. You have decided to be here to participate. You were not put here. Do you understand?
Yes. Oh my God.
You decided to do this.
Yes.
Don't remove yourself from your own self-empowerment and the decisions you have made to be of service at this time.
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I start to cry. It's just so true.
Oh, there's nothing to apologize for whatsoever. You are releasing through your tears belief systems that no longer work for you. Remember that when you hold on to a belief or have a particular perspective or definition of something that may be out of alignment with you, it creates a constituent within your body that is chemically oriented. And when you let go of that belief, you have to wash the chemical constituent out of your body, which most often happens through the idea of tears. So tears very often are the releasing of the chemical component of beliefs that you're letting go of.
Okay, amazing. So yes, let me already rephrase that. I put myself on the earth at this time to assist with this amazing paradigm shift that is occurring on the earth at this time. And so I want to do this by way of like making videos and putting myself out there and allowing, people
that is your expression of your passion, that is your expression of your passion, then by all means act on it, again with no insistence or assumption of the outcome.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Is there something holding you back from doing that?
There was in the past, actually. So funny you bring this up. My family, they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were, and I actually have someone in the household that is still a Jehovah's Witness. So if they were to witness any of this happening, I would get kicked out of the house. Yeah.
Well, is there something wrong with that?
Getting kicked out? Well, in my egoic mind, it's like, oh my gosh, that can't happen. Where am I going to go? These kinds of things.
Well, I guess you'll find out. I'm not saying you have to share the idea with someone who you know is not vibrationally interested or compatible with your ideas. That's fine. But we would encourage you to pay attention to whether that is actually placing a limitation and a restriction on yourself for being able to do what you know you need to do as you. So don't take responsibility for someone else's reaction. I'm not saying you have to do things intentionally to hurt them, but the idea is that you're not responsible for their choice of reaction to something that is really your truth. And you're also, in some sense, then, shall we say, depriving them or preventing them from actually knowing who you are. So even though they may react in a negative way, you have to decide whether it's appropriate or not to actually be who you are in their presence. And if you find that you're not being who you are out of a fear-based idea, then you're not being who you are anyway.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Well, either way, yes, I do still want to share this. It's going to be out there for them to see. And if they see it, well,
Then they see
I'll
it.
just have to see. Yeah, I'll just have to see what happens. But
Yes.
But
my
whatever
question,
it is that happens, you have to stay in your center to know what is your truth while still allowing them to have what they believe to be their truth. And you don't have to dive into or be engulfed by the idea of conflict, because you know that synchronicity will give you what you need and that you'll be just fine and that you can have compassion toward them, recognizing that they're going through their own process of understanding what is true and not true for them, even though they may be resistant to finding that out, even though they may not have been brought up to understand the tools that they need in order to do that. At least you're giving them the option to choose something else by letting them know there is another path, but they don't have to choose it. Nevertheless, at the same time, you at least get to be you.
yes,
So put it out there, see what happens.
I will. I definitely will. I definitely feel like this is something I need to do. I have actually I haven't really lived my life for myself. It's really only recently
All
that
right.
I've
Do
discovered
remember this, very important. If you have a gift to give, there is someone waiting to receive it, or you wouldn't be excited about giving it, because that would be pointless. So that means the longer you take, not blaming you, it's not a negative, just explaining to you the idea. The longer you take to give those gifts, the longer you make someone waiting to receive them wait. Do you understand?
Yes, let's not. I won't make them wait anymore. I'll definitely get on.
All right.
But my question for that was actually like, how do I reach like people with my information? How can I go about helping them change their lives, like with these videos?
No. You go about sharing the information in whatever way you can, putting it out there in whatever way is correct for you. What they choose to do or not do with it is none of your business, because you don't know how it will affect them. You don't know what they do and don't need to get from you. They will decide whether or not to change their lives. That's not your decision to make. All you can do is provide them the option to change their lives, the opportunity to change their lives in ways that might be more beneficial for them. You have absolutely no business assuming that they have to pay attention to you. You will reach the audience you need to reach. You will not reach the audience you don't need to reach. So why worry about it? Just be yourself and know for a fact that whether you ever know how you're doing it, someone is benefiting from what it is you gave. You may never know who is benefiting or how they're benefiting, but you will be giving them the option instead of depriving them of the option, and just keep doing what you do, knowing that you're benefiting someone. That's all you need to know. Whatever someone does with it is not your business.
I understand. Yes.
All right.
So much yes to that. So much shadow work I probably need to do with this too.
And that's fine, because that's the point also of your journey, is to know yourself, to really dig down and find out what belief systems don't work for you. Remember, there's no absolute right or wrong way. You're an infinite, eternal being. There's no hurry. Just do what it is that seems correct for you at the moment. Learn from whatever happens from the result of those actions or choices, and then decide again whether you want to continue in the same direction or whether you want to change your belief about something. It's up to you. This is the greatest power you all have, the freedom to choose. There's no contradiction coming from creation itself. The idea is that you are given that free will to make a choice so that you can be the unique individual that you really actually are, as a reflection of the infinite of all that is.
Yes, I feel like that's been a really big lesson in my life, to be honest. Thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome. Good day.
Likewise.
Hi there.
Good day.
So nice to speak with you today, Bashar. What are kachinas?
Kachinas are an expression of an interdimensional type or expression of consciousness that, from our perspective, you could say inhabits the borders between different dimensions, which is its own dimension. But they are the in-betweeners.
Okay.
They are a different type of consciousness. The American Indians dealt with them primarily in a variety of ways. They are representative of understanding the structure of your reality as it interfaces with other realities. Since they are the in-between expression of consciousness, they are the interface between one reality and another. But that is its own reality.
I see. Because in January, you had recommended also working with them. They were coming around, and I had been getting curious, and I was like, looking them up. And so, and you were asking me if I was going into a nature space soon, and I am, where I do tend to get Native American spirits, and I get like initiations and transmissions from them.
Yes.
So,
now, they are also a very specific part of the collective archetypal consciousness of your entire planet as well.
I see.
And they can represent a link or a bridge between the physical and the higher mind in a very particular way. But they represent something bigger than that, too.
Okay. And any suggestions on permission slips on how to work with them? Or should I just go into meditation and see what happens?
Remember that whatever you're attracted to use, you're attracted to because it will work for you. That's what the attraction means. So find the permission slips that you're attracted to use, and that's all you need to do. And when it stops being attractive, use something else.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does. Thank you so much, Bashar.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, so much love and gratitude to you and your people. Thank you.
Our unconditional love to all of you as well. Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day. Yes.
So, you once said, when you learn to do more with less, you can do less and get more. I was wondering if you can expand on that.
Well, isn't it obvious?
Yeah, but just, you don't have to.
Well, in other words, asking us to expand on it is not doing less and getting more. Because you're asking for more instead of less.
Oh, okay. Yes.
The idea really, again, is becoming more efficient, in a sense, allowing things to flow through you in a more efficient way so that the actions you take feel less and less and less like you're actually expending any effort at all. That's what we're saying. You feel like you are doing less, but you see the reflection of more happening because you're doing it more efficiently, more in alignment with the superconductive nature of the energy that's flowing through you. Whereas, if you feel like you're doing more, then there may be resistance there that is beyond the natural way in which you need to express yourself, because you're doing more but getting less because you're not being efficient with the energy. So it's not that you actually are really doing less physiologically, but you're doing it in a way, although you might be, but you're doing it in a way that feels like you're not really doing anything, and yet you are doing more because you're using the energy more efficiently. You're being more aware of the greater reflection that even the tiniest change will make in the experience of your life. That's what we mean by doing less and getting more, is you're becoming more of yourself, which reveals more of yourself, but the way you become more of yourself is not by struggling, is not by resisting. In a sense, it's by surrendering to who you truly are. And that, in a sense, translates as doing less. It doesn't mean you actually just sit and do nothing.
Yes. Good day.
Good day, Bashar.
Good day, good day.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
What connections do I have, and is there any historical counterparts, past, present, and if possible to say future?
Yes, but that's true for most of you. Remember, this is a dynamically changing thing. It's not static. It's like plugging into an internet and unplugging from it and plugging into something else on the internet and then unplugging from it as you need to make those connections based on how you believe they guide you through life in terms of the kind of experience and information that you download from those connections. Whether you call them past, present, future, whether you call them extraterrestrial connections, extra-dimensional connections, guide connections, all that is, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're plugging into that serves you at the moment is constantly dynamically changing.
Yeah, and for the connections that they are relatively similar to everybody, like Sirius and Pleiades.
There may be some differences for certain individuals, but the general ones that most of you on Earth at this time connect to are Sirius, Pleiades, Orion, Arcturus, hybrid civilizations, such as my own or some of the other hybrids, the Greys, and also, historically, many of you connect to the idea, especially in what you call your United States area or North American continent, or South American or Central American continent, to the concept of Atlantean connections, some in the Asian continent to Lemurian connections. These are very common for most of you at this time. Yes, there are others that can be included in that formula, in that equation, in that mix, and that then will depend upon the specific individuals, the specific themes, the specific connections beyond the general ones that are germane and relevant for them in this particular life path.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
What is the link between you, Ra, Thoth, Abraham, and myself?
We're not exactly sure how to answer that. It's an extremely generalized question, and to some degree is an offshoot of what we just explained. You make your links according to the vibrations that you need, and you set up those links between different entities for yourself as you need to create them. So whether or not I myself need to have a link to Ra per se in my own journey of life doesn't really make a difference if you need me to have a link between myself and Ra for your journey in life, because we're interacting with your entire collective consciousness, all the archetypal levels that represent your world and your collective consciousness and collective unconsciousness. And therefore we know that whatever it is we represent to you, for whatever reasons you are creating a connection with us, will also entail the possibility of very specifically designed or customized links that you will make as you need to experience what you create us to be in your reality.
Thank you. That's very clear.
All right.
Will I come to SSN?
Well, you have been there in spirit. Will you come physically? That I cannot answer at this time, because you're not finished being the person that you would need to be in order for that to occur. I'll just say that there might be a probability, but I can't give you a percentage.
Thank you. Could I have a quick geographical country's timeline of my Earth's lineage since Anunnaki alteration, and how's my father doing in spirit?
Your father is doing fine. There's no such thing as an actual genetic timeline per se, because again, remember that as you change, you're a different person with a different history.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah. What is my friend Clément doing in spirit right now?
There seems to be some kind of a study or a teaching taking place of how spirit interacts or becomes physical matter. Because one of the things that's important in what you call the future of the evolution of the Earth is for guides to be able to interact more concretely, more seemingly physically, with physical beings and vice versa. So there is kind of a tutelage or a class or a lesson going on that allows those in spirit to understand exactly how to alter their vibration to be more perceivable by those in physical reality, but at the same time interacting through dreams with those in physical reality to help them understand how to alter their frequency to be a little bit more spirit-like so that you can meet in the middle.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really grateful for your civilization existence, and my statement is that I feel a world I am going to be able to live in, which I already am, that is beyond my wildest dreams in service to others.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Our deep appreciation to you as well for the co-creation and willingness to be yourself.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar. This is Riho from Estonia. I have a question about energy readings. How is it possible that you sense someone's energy who you barely know and channel completely detailed information about their personal life? Please describe this process. And
we don't have to know them on a personal level to be able to read the language of the energy that we perceive when the interaction takes place. There are literally patterns of energy that we perceive that you're made out of. And sort of similar to the idea of someone who's sensitive to reading like tarot cards or something else, certain patterns stand out in terms of their color, their shape, whether they're in the beginning or the front or the back, in certain ways that actually is representative of an energy language. And it's the energy language of the personality that we're actually perceiving and responding to. So the different symbols that we see, that we perceive in that exchange tells us what we need to know and what we need to say. We're responding to energy patterns of your consciousness. And therefore it's representative of different aspects of your personality, different aspects of your journey, different aspects of your experiences are all translated into symbols in that energy language, and that's what we're reading.
how can we train this for ourselves, and do we experience it already actually? Thank you, all my love to Aveo. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
By following the formula, because again, remember, as you act on your passion, the very first step of the formula is designed to raise your frequency, because that's what happens when you act on your passion. And when you raise your frequency, you become a more sensitive receiver to higher frequency dimensional information. And therefore you start perceiving things, and your senses start being more capable of perceiving things on a higher frequency level, which sometimes translates as energy forms, or whatever way it works for you, whatever symbols work for you. But that's the first step, is you have to raise your frequency, which is why we encourage all of you to act on your passion, because that's what automatically happens when you do. So the more you get used to doing that, the more you will start having more sensitive senses to these kinds of energies, and the more you will start learning how to read those other levels of information.
Timo from Finland on the Arctic Circle. I have experienced hundreds of times sleep paralysis, flying dreams, and also I have been many times conscious of out-of-body experience. So I would like to know, what does that mean? And have you got reading how many times I have been experienced those? And I have 2 days from this live stream, I have my birthday, so if you and your civilization can send me happy birthday, I would love that. Thank you.
Happy birthday. We'll do that first. The idea of what you call sleep paralysis can happen for a number of different reasons, based on not only what you mentioned in terms of out-of-body projection, because if you're shifting yourself to another dimensional realm, your body can no longer move in the same way that you're used to moving it, and so that can be experienced as a kind of freezing or immobilization of the physical form, while the idea of the energy component, the consciousness component, goes on or expands beyond the idea of its physical experience. However, it also can be something that happens when you are shifted by encounters with different extraterrestrial beings into a slightly altered reality in order to experience certain encounters, because again, it's similar to the idea of shifting your vibration from what you typically refer to as physical reality to perhaps another variation of it. And so, therefore, in being shifted, you are also being immobilized to make sure that you're shifted to the reality that is preferred, so you don't go shooting off into the cosmos. And also because, again, the immobilization may be necessary or simply a side effect or a result of the fact that you think you're trying to move in the same reality, but because you're not in the same reality, you have to learn to move differently, and therefore feel that effect of not being able to move in your typical reality as a paralysis. The flying can be representative of the fact that you know you are now moving through an astral realm or out of body, as you say. It can also be representative of some encounters with the idea of being on a spaceship. But again, it will depend on that particular moment. You'd have to take it on a moment-by-moment basis. In terms of the number of encounters that you've had, it appears that you've had at least 13 in your life that are responsible for that experience for that reason. In terms of the idea of out-of-body projections, it seems that you may have had well over 50, at least as far as we can read your energy. You may not remember them all because it may not be necessary to remember them all, but nevertheless, this is what we're picking up from your frequency at this particular moment. So again, happy birthday. And to you, good day.
How are you?
Perfect, and you?
I'm great.
All right.
Okay. Did humans inherit archetypal symbology from both the Sasquatch and the Anunnaki when they were hybridized? Or
the archetypal level is a collective, unconscious level that involves every single being on your planet. It doesn't mean human or Sasquatch only. It means everything. Archetypal levels are a reflection of the entire collective unconscious of your entire planet.
okay.
So
okay.
everything is included in it.
Okay, so the injection of the Anunnaki genes did not have any effect on that. Is that right?
Of course it had an effect. It added a different archetype, but still it became part of the archetypal structure of the collective consciousness of your planet.
Okay, so what archetype was added?
Well, the connection to the concept of extraterrestrial consciousness.
Okay, and has it also evolved over time?
Of course it has, like everything.
Okay, so do we have any symbolism for it in our culture or world right now? Like, how do we recognize that archetype?
There are many symbols for the idea of your recognition of extraterrestrial consciousness. Whichever symbol you're attracted to use is fine, because they're all belonging to the unconscious archetypal level of the collective. So some people will use the concept of the actual letters ET. Some will use the idea of a configuration of a flying saucer. Some will simply see it as the idea of the image of another planet. There are many ways to represent the archetypal symbol of extraterrestrial consciousness based on your particular affinity for a particular symbol that represents it.
Okay. And how do you interact with archetypes in your civilization? How do the archetypes help people in your civilization?
It again gives us a clearer understanding of what we are not only as individuals in relation to the archetype of the collective, but it gives us a clearer understanding and ability to interact with the collective as well, simultaneously. In other words, we see the idea of our existence multidimensionally at the same time.
Okay, so like, do they help you in your endeavors of, say, first contact or any other endeavors in your world? Like, do they take physical form, or do you communicate with them in a different way, like you communicate with your higher mind through your ships?
It's similar to that idea because, again, we represent and understand the idea of archetypes as being a part of our collective consciousness, and therefore any individual who chooses to relate to the idea of the archetypal level in their own particular way will create their own symbology that's relevant for them to allow them to experience that relationship in the way that works for them. So many different kinds of symbols can be created. Sometimes it can even be that something will project itself to look like it's actually physically in our reality. It just depends on what works for the individual's relationship with that particular archetypal representation.
Okay, Bashar. Sure.
Sometimes the archetype will look like a geometric object. Sometimes the archetype might present itself in what you would recognize as an animal form. Sometimes it might represent itself as the form of a Sasani being. Sometimes it might represent itself as the form of energy of some sort. It just depends on the individual's relationship with that particular archetypal section, shall we say, of the collective unconscious, although we don't really have an unconscious. So for us, it's a little different.
Okay, Bashar. And then there used to be an empire named Sasanian Empire in the Middle East.
Yes, it was named after our civilization.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Like, what's the connection with your civilization? And
The
and,
connection
like,
is that there was an entity on the earth at that time from our civilization who explained the name of our civilization was Sasani, but it was misunderstood as the name of the individual entity. This entity was considered to be some sort of a divine entity or a godlike entity, even though it was simply one of us. But being very much more advanced, it was taken to be some sort of supernatural entity. Over time, a being was born on your planet that was named after this particular entity. There was a connection energetically between them, and the parents of that particular individual that was born was named Sasan or Sasani. And then when that particular individual had a grandson, and the grandson created a particular physical, political empire on your planet, he decided to name the empire after his grandfather, who was named Sasan and Sasani. And therefore, that's how the idea of the Sasani Empire became named after our civilization, because it was named originally for the grandfather whose name was taken from the supernatural entity that everyone assumed was a godlike figure, but was only one of us.
Sure, Bashar, that's very illuminating. And can you also tell me the difference between inspiration and motivation? Like, what is inspiration in comparison to motivation?
Well, inspiration can be the idea of the unfolding of your imaginative connection to the higher mind to present you with the concepts that represent your passional path. But motivation is that which uses your belief systems to determine how willing you are to actually take action on that inspirational path or idea. That
Sure.
was your last question.
Sure, Bashar, thank you.
Thank you.